Alright, today we're going to go over the squat. We're going to start with some progressions and then we'll get all the way to the front squat and the barbell back squat. So the first thing we're going to do is a bodyweight squat, just to see how Chris likes to squat. So you're going to get in your favorite position. Feet can be however wide you want them to be, toes wherever you want, wherever's comfortable, and you're just going to squat down. And back up. Good. A couple more times. Yep, now face the camera. Good. One more time. Good. So he gets nice and deep in that position. He's a good squatter. We're going to talk about femurs and torso a little bit. So he has pretty short femurs and a longer torso, which means that he gets down and he can sit between his knees pretty quickly. Someone with longer femurs, it takes them a while to get down just because the femur is longer. And if they have long femurs and a short torso, that's going to be an okay build for squatting. If they have a long femurs and a long torso, it's kind of a bad form for squatting. So the first thing we're going to do to progress him towards a back squat is to have him grab this kettlebell right here. Good. He's going to hold it in the goblet position, just like that, close to his chest, and he's going to squat down. Good, and stand back up. One more time. Good, face the camera. Good. So a couple of things you might see with this. Someone might, hold it up there. Someone might go down and have their knees cave in. So what you're going to do is tell them, go down, get your elbows inside your knees, press them out, and stand up. Good, and that's a good little hip opener. One more time. So down, elbows, press, up. Good. So the forward weight of the kettlebell is what's going to kind of give him some room to sit back in the squat. It's going to allow him to get his weight back on his heels. When you have someone who's new and he's pretty bad squatting, typically they're going to come up on their toes first thing, and you're going to bend at the knees, okay? So you want to give them a little bit of weight to allow them to lean back. So sometimes the bodyweight squat is actually going to be harder than a kettlebell goblet squat, just because having that weight there allows someone to sit back, allows them to get the weight on the heels, and that's a much more comfortable way to squat. So now we're going to move on to the front squat, the barbell. Alright, so now we're going to go over the front squat. So the first thing we're going to do is have Chris go under the bar, straight arms, and pick it up. Take one step back, and squat down. There you go, good. Now rack it. So, we start with that because it allows you to get comfortable with the bar on your shoulders and your collarbones right here, and it lets people kind of find that balance. So when we go and use the grip, we don't want them to be using their hands to push the bar back, or if you use straps, you want them to be able to hold it on their shoulders. That gives them a lot more stability. So the next thing we're going to do is actually have them use a grip. There's two choices basically. There's two fingers on the bar, or there's a whole hand, or if you don't want to use a grip, you can cross your hands over your shoulders. But for now, Chris is going to go with two fingers. Chris is going to grab the bar with two fingers. Just like that. Get his elbows up and under. Unrack the bar, one step back. And go. Good, back up. Again. Good. One more time. Good. Rack it. So, if the weight's heavier, typically the first thing you're going to see is the elbows will drop around forward, and that's how he's going to miss the front squat, okay? So the biggest cue for the front squat is to keep the elbows up, especially from the bottom. So if someone has a lot of trouble getting down into depth in the squat, if they go too low, they're going to tend to round anyway, and that's going to be why you see the elbows rounding. So make sure they don't go too low, or else they're just going to dump the bar every time, and it's not because of a flexibility issue, it's just the way that they're built. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the back squat.
That's like fucking archive. It's literally everything from like alternating hammer curls to like, I don't know, a few minutes. That's
Alright, now in here.
yeah.
All right, so we're gonna go over the barbell back squat. The first thing we're gonna go over is grips and where to put the bar. Do you want it high on the traps or low? So Chris is gonna get under the bar here. So his hands are pretty close to his shoulders. That's pretty typical in a powerlifting, Olympic style lifting. But if he has bad shoulders, he's gonna get them way out, and that's just more comfortable. So basically as close as you're comfortable with. Some people even get their hands touching their shoulders. That's cool if you can do it. So get your hands back to normal. Okay. So this is kind of a mid between high and low bar position. So he could afford to get a little bit lower if he wanted to. If he's going to do a powerlifting style squat, if you come back up, yep, right on the traps, and that's more of an Olympic style. So if he's here, he's going to be able to be more upright in the squat. The lower you go, the more you have to lean over. All right. So I'm going to take one step back and squat down. Good. One more time. Good. Rack it. So he's a pretty good squatter. Now the difference between these two heights are that in the high bar, you're going to have your feet a little closer. You're going to be more upright. You're going to use more of your quads, and you can typically squat a little bit less. With the low bar position, you can typically squat a little bit more, but it's going to be a little bit harder to get all the way down. But it also depends on your limb lengths and stuff like that. So if you're just a recreational squatter, just go with whatever's comfortable. Chris, go ahead and get under the bar one more time. So the thing that's really important in the squat is to get your upper back really freaking tight. And what that's going to do is create a lot of padding here, and it's going to allow you to unrack the bar and feel less of the weight. So if you're completely relaxed here, the bar is just going to feel heavier. It's going to be pushing you down from the get-go. So make sure you get your upper back as tight as possible, and then unrack the bar. All right.